You're looking right now at a shot of Chicago, where the Democratic convention is now underway. The gathering is one of the most unique in the party's history, with a sitting president choosing not to seek re-election and his vice president about to accept the nomination to replace him. Joe Biden is a keynote speaker tonight, while Kamala Harris will take the stage on Thursday. Party unity will be a major theme inside the convention, but outside, there are protests against the administration's handling of the war in Gaza. The CBC's Richard Madden is in Chicago and joins us now live. Richard, I understand that you're in the middle of a demonstration this hour. What's happening around you?
Yeah, organizers expected some 20,000 protesters to fill the park just a few blocks from the United Center where the DNC convention gets underway. But as you can see, maybe about a third of that, maybe 3,000 protesters here. It's been very peaceful so far. They have some speakers on the stage set up. You see them holding signs, banners, flags in support of various causes. And there are a lot of causes protesters are here for, everything from racial equality to protecting abortion rights, to climate change. But the biggest issue here that you can see is, of course, the Biden administration support for Gaza, which has drawn several protesters and some counter-protesters here. And those are the most vocal, loudest voices that we've seen so far. This is an issue that has really divided the party, a certain wing of the Democratic Party. They're angry of President Joe Biden's support for Israel, and they're also demanding Vice President Kamala Harris just be more aggressive in her calls for a ceasefire. We spoke to a few demonstrators here today. Take a listen to what they had to say.
My cause is to bring peace and not have my tax dollars go over to a war that we should not be a part of. It's a genocide that's currently going on. And I believe that everyone that's standing here is for the same exact reason.
Well, we're not here to cause trouble. We're being super peaceful. We've literally not spoken to really anyone. We're just here walking and praying and showing our support for the Jewish community. So we're here to be peaceful.
Because we currently have a president in office that's supporting genocide. Billions of dollars have been spent on bombs dropped on children and women.
Now, there's also a heavy police presence here. I'm not sure if you can see it from our angle down here, but there are literally hundreds of police officers lining the street by the park, which, if you follow that road, that kind of takes you down to the United Center. Many organizers were quite worried initially of the parallels between this protest and what happened in Chicago in 1968 at the Democratic Convention. Of course, that's when Lyndon Johnson stepped aside. There's going to be a new leader of the Democratic Party. Issues like civil rights, the Vietnam War were really dividing the party at the time, and it led to a lot of police beatings using tear gas, and those images were seen around the world. Richard Nixon, the Republican challenger at the time, seized that issue to present the Republicans as a law and order party, painting liberals and Democrats as just a lawless bunch of protesters. So I think it's safe to say that this is unlikely to get to those 1968 levels. It's been very peaceful here, as I've noted, but it has drawn a crowd here. And they're also trying to send their message to Kamala Harris. Of course, when you have an election where there's a lot of disillusionment between Republicans and Democrats, you're going to get stuff like this, other people taking a stand to say literally anybody else in 2024. But of course, Democrats are hoping that they're going to emerge from this convention united as they look ahead to the final stretch in November.
And that will continue tonight at the United Center when the DNC officially gets underway. We're going to hear plenty of speeches. What'll be happening inside today and later tonight?
Yeah, tonight is going to be all about Joe. It's a tribute to outgoing President Joe Biden, who, of course, exited the race last month. That really gave Kamala Harris about a month to put her stamp on the party and to present herself as a president and waited to come up with her own policy, her own platform. It's going to be interesting to see as this convention progresses. What policies will Kamala Harris align with the Biden administration? Will she put her stamp on her own as she tries to chart her own course now that she's at the top of the ticket? But tonight it's all going to be a tribute to Joe Biden, a real symbolic passing of the political torch from Biden to Harris, and that takes place later tonight.
The CBC's Richard Madden in Chicago. Thanks, Richard.